Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast. We're coming to you live from Cole Creative in downtown Wilkes-Barre. I'm Rich Howells. I'm the founder and editor of NEPA Scene.
I am John Popko. I work for Time Shamrock Communications with Rock 107, ESPN Radio, and Alt 92.1, and I'm also the Saturday night host of Alt Natives on Alt 92.1.
And we are here with Traverse the Abyss, a metal band from Scranton, who are releasing their self-titled EP at the V-Spot in Scranton on Friday, August 24th. You can see it right there. Stay Loud, E57, 86 Bullets, and One Day Waiting. So we're going to be talking about their heavy new EP and how they've grown since their first album, being voted in the top 10 of 97.9X's Next to Rock competition, the current state of the music industry, and streaming versus physical media. That's definitely a big topic this week because of some articles that came out, so we're going to get into that, and making it as an unsigned artist and much more. So we really want to hear from you. We want your comments, your questions. It's much more fun when you guys participate in our conversation. So please tune in. Please hang out with us for a little while. Did you guys share it on your Facebook pages and stuff like that?
We shared it on the personal and the band page.
So any of you fans of the band who wanted to know anything about these guys that you didn't already know, please tune in and let us know. We would love to hear from you. We were just talking about how we just put these guys in the casting couch and how much this looks like that, especially now with the backdrop missing this week. Like, it just came in and it was gone.
I don't know what this casting couch is.
Matthew orders a large sausage deluxe pizza, but he doesn't know how he could ever pay for it. Oh, how will he ever pay for this pizza?
What are you guys talking about?
Please, if you have any suggestions as to how he can pay for this pizza, please leave those down below as well. I think you should Google it after the show. But wait till the show's over, just so we don't get any surprises tonight during the program. But before we get into the interview, now this is just a teaser, by the way, because next week we're going to have Vinny from the V-Spot on here. So anything we say tonight, it's going to be 10 times worse next week. But we want to plug Beer Boys, who always gives us these wonderful crowlers every week out of the 72 beers they have on tap. What do those guys have this week?
Well, I missed out on the Fireball mugs.
Oh yeah, they have. Well, tonight is glass night.
Yeah.
So you can get Dr. McGillicuddy's Intense Peach with over-the-barrel hard cream soda for a peaches and cream kind of flavor, which is pretty creative, and a free Fireball Mule Cup. I don't even know what is a Mule Cup exactly.
I think those copper mugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I didn't get
they're
one
cooler
of those.
than the average
Yeah.
pint glass that you would usually get at those types of
Yeah.
things. Oh, that's cool.
But
They go quick. Beer
They
Boys
do.
is popular.
I was there at 6:25.
It was already gone.
But the drinks are not gone. So.
No, they got plenty of other stuff. Well, I noticed they got the fall and the pumpkin beers
Yeah, that's what-
already starting.
Yeah, so he gave us SPC Oktoberfest
Nice.
and Benny Brewing Pumpkin from the cask.
Oh, nice. I was hoping they would give us that.
It's too soon.
It's never too soon,
too
dude.
soon,
You gotta stay
man.
spooky all year,
Dude,
man.
I am such a basic white bitch when it comes to that stuff. Give me pumpkin all day long. I'm all about that.
Pumpkin ice
But
coffee.
Yeah.
then he threw in a Coors Banquet.
Oh, okay. So we're classing it up there.
I don't think I've ever had a Coors Banquet before.
Well, prepare to be amazed. The banquet, I'm sure, brings
The banquet
Coors
of
to a new
beer, yeah.
level.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's gotta be-
It's like a champagne of sorts, I'm sure. But I'm excited for the pumpkin beer. I don't care how early it is. I
All
can't
year.
wait to get into that. Yeah, I'd be
You want
good
that
with
first?
that.
You want that first?
Yeah. Let's do the new Benny one. That sounds awesome.
Benny Pumpkin from the cask.
Nice. Now, Benny does a lot of IPAs and stuff, but they have been branching out and doing other things. So I'm curious about this one. This is brewed right here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Smells good. We look get drunk tonight. Last time we were here, there was too many people. They fucking drank all the beer on us.
Well, last week you weren't here, And we had IPAs that all had like kind of a higher ABV, so I was getting a little tipsy by the
Well,
end
you're welcome.
Fucking
I was,
smells real nice.
I was at
Yeah.
home with my kid, calling those guys jabronis. I was like, I hope they know I was kidding, because they'll kill me.
No, I told them to hunt you down, so they're gonna beat the living shit out of you.
Here, someone finish this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that smells really good.
Yeah.
Where do you want the can?
I'm going to put that.
This is like drinking pumpkin spice. This
Rotted
is
taste
real heavy on that.
Very flavorful.
Yeah,
very
yeah, it's
flavorful.
really good.
It's from the cask, so it's not as carbonated, so to speak.
Right.
So. Is it broken? We'll break it.
I'd say thumbs up for me. Tasty.
I wonder what the ABV's on us.
Yeah, good question. I'm not sure. What did they say?
No, you didn't put it on there.
Well, nevertheless, this is probably one of the only places you can get it. Because
Other than
Beer
Benny,
Boys
yeah.
Beer Boys gets a lot of stuff that
Yeah.
a lot of the other bars don't get. So, and this was right out of the cask, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Beer Boys, North Washington Street in Wilkes-Barre.
Yes, thank you guys. We also want to plug the V Spot, which actually ties into what we're talking about anyway tonight, so it works out pretty well. The V Spot is one of the most popular bars in northeastern Pennsylvania with live entertainment every night of the week. This week they have Last Call tonight, London Force on Thursday, London Force Duo, the Boastfuls on Friday. I've heard good things about those guys. They're kind of an up-and-coming cover band in the area. D West on Saturday, so on the other side of that coin, guys have been doing it a very long time. And DJ Huff is hosting karaoke on Sunday, and our NEPA Scene Rising Talent Open Mic and Talent Contest is back on Tuesday, September 4th. It runs for 12 weeks, and we're going to have a brand new format, so it's going to be a lot different. We're going to talk about it. In fact, I was trying to talk about it to Vinny, who's a very busy man, on the phone the other night, and he's like, no, I want you to surprise me for the podcast. So essentially, I'm going to be pitching this to him on the show and explaining what's a little bit different. But
I hope he fucking hates it.
I hope so too. I hope like weeks before we have to do this, he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? We're not doing that. That's a terrible idea." So it should be interesting conversation, nevertheless. So obviously, he has a lot of faith in what we're doing, but it's going to be very different. And I hope that we'll see more full bands come out and try out, because it's a lot different. And the prizes are going to be very different, and there's not going to be a straight competition in the sense of finals and stuff like that. It's all the voting's online. So if you're one of those people like yourselves who knows how to push yourselves online and get people to vote for you and stuff like that, this is going to be the contest for you. So you should definitely come and check that out. But we'll get more to that next week. This week we want to talk more about what's coming up in just a few weeks, your EP release show. But before that, we should talk about how you guys got started as a band. I know you had a band before this, and that kind of became something.
Yeah, it was almost like an evolution.
Yeah.
Prior, me, Mike White, and Mike Benicki, we used to play in a band called Without a Martyr. And after, like, the end of 2014, we ended up disbanding. And then me and Mike joined Threat Point for a little while, the better half of 2015 into 2016. And then kind of pulled the steel maneuver off Mike. Threat Point, you're my boys, but fuck you, I stole them. Right back. Right back at home. So then we kind of wanted to do our own thing, because, like, it wasn't... We felt a part of it, but at the same time, it wasn't ours.
Sure.
So we wanted to take like everything that we learned, because like we learned a lot from playing with CJ and Chris and Alex and everybody, and getting to travel around and just how to run a band in a more professional manner than what we were used to, just coming from garage band to like, hey, you guys we're playing in a different state every week, and
Right.
it's like, oh, this is like, holy shit, like this is incredible. So we kind of stole Mike from there, and then we were just kind of pitching around songs. We used to take our songs Believe and 21 or Bust were originally Without a Martyr songs towards the very end of the band. So we kind of like rehashed them, brought them back, and like worked with them. We used to play in a lot muddier of a tuning. We would drop down to A, so we tuned up a little bit to C to tighten it up, and just the equipment all around was better for the drop C. So we were all like spitballing. We rehashed those songs, revamped them, and then the first actual Traverse the Abyss song that was written was Royal Flush. It was Mike was playing the guitar. He would come up with a line, brainstorm a couple like how to vocalize over it, and then we presented it to Phil, who was our drummer at the time, and from there, originally we wanted to do an EP, just something to get out there, and we had a whole collection of songs, and we're like, at this point, like, fuck it, just do an album, like,
Yeah.
because it was the toss-up, like, do we just do an EP just to get some stuff out there, come back into the scene, get relevant, or like, do we take everything we have and really find cut and put out a full-length album? So we ended up going around that route, which happily we did, because the last 3 songs of the album were the last 3 songs we put in, and they're some of our favorite songs. It's just like Joker, Bullets, and the title track, The Gamble of Life itself. So it's kind of how the band came together. Essentially 4 friends got back together and wanted to write music. I guess for a reason, the band stands for making memories, going through the dark times in life to get to that light at the end of the tunnel. No matter when you're going through dark times, just keep going, because when you go down, eventually it goes back up.
I think there's that common misconception when people hear metal, they think it's all dark and gloomy and about hell and death and everything else too. And that stuff's in there, of course, but the message overall doesn't always have to be, dark.
We're different like that. Like, we definitely do have some darker songs, like Inner Demons, and one of our newer ones has definitely a darker theme all around to the song, while like our song Diamonds, which used to be Believe in Without a Martyr Days, that's self-inspiration, self-empowerment. Like, you could put anything to your mind, anything you put your mind to, you could accomplish. Same with the debut song for Traverse, which was One of a Kind. When we put that out, that's you be yourself. Don't give a fuck what he likes Boston. You don't like Boston. Fuck it.
Right.
He likes what he likes. Do what you do. Listen to what music you like. Watch what movies you like. Why have someone else jurisdict your life when you're one of a kind? Mm-hmm. So a lot of our songs do have like a mix of package. Some are dark, angry kind of songs, and others are very upbeat, positive, inspiring to a point.
Well, that first album is very much, in terms of influences and directions. There's a kind of a little bit of sampling of everything. Like, there's a lot of different stuff going on in that album, which some people might see as a detriment. I liked that because it mixes it up, and you're not really sure what to expect. When you hear some albums, it's like, oh well, this song sounds like this one and this one and this one, but there was kind of a lot of surprises on the Gamble Life.
That was like the goal of the album, is just because we're all of us are metalheads, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but a lot of times you do come across a certain band album that you've listened to, and it's like, oh, I didn't even see song 3 ended and song 4 began. Like, there's no changeover. It's just almost monotonous. And like, we have so many different influences outside of metal into like the hard rock, pop punk, hardcore influences like that, and we just wanted to make sure every song on that CD was A-B to the last. Like, we open with One of a Kind, and it's more like a modern metalcore kind of sound, and then this following song, All In, is like typical hard rock almost song. So it's like, we try to make sure we were pulling different elements for each song to keep it fun for us, but also for the listener, because in a sense, you put the song CD on, you're listening, and they're just same elements, same things every song, which isn't a bad thing.
Sure.
But at the same point, we wanted to go about it in a different approach, more like a sore thumb into it. Because like, even in the write-up, you deemed us as contemporary metal, and I'm like, someone knows what the fuck we are. Because we're like, are we metalcore? Are we heavy metal? Are we groove metal? Like,
sure,
where the fuck do we fall? Because there's just so many different influences in every song. Or one part of a song will be thrash metal, and then the next 30 seconds, it's like, where the fuck did that go? So, like, it's trying to keep it interesting for the listener, keep it interesting, fun for us performing wise and everything. So that was pretty much the goal of the gamble of life, was to create just a roller coaster of songs and emotions going through as you would everyday life.
Yeah.
Anger, happiness, sadness, people feeling like someone used you or anything like that, self-encouragement, like, hey, I could do this. So just all the different emotional roller coasters that you would go through in life was essentially the gamble.
Well, the thing with modern metal too, and since I grew up a metalhead and hung out with a lot of metal fans and stuff. I went to Slayer over the past couple of days, that kind of thing. There's kind of an ongoing sort of debate between the old school and the new school about what's actual real metal and what's I don't want to and there's definitely a line. I think when even with myself, as I get older, I start to hear some of the up and coming new bands, and I'm like, I don't know if not that I necessarily don't like it. I don't know if this is for me. Like this is made for this generation. But the same thing happened when I was growing up. I got into metal because of nu metal, and nu metal was outrightly rejected when it came out by the strong metalheads.
That was
like,
my thought process.
No,
too,
I don't like we don't want to accept this. And now years later, I think people are softer on that, and they totally respect and like those bands because a lot of them are still around today. They're still making platinum records. They're still touring the world. So those bands, I think, at some point get accepted. And I think you see the same thing now. Bands like Motionless in White are a perfect example where, I think a lot of older school fans are like, I don't know, this is not for me. This is for the younger kids or whatever. But I think as time goes on, I think they'll be more and more accepted. Do you feel the same?
Especially with their latest album. It has just such different tone overall from their other stuff, I feel. But I definitely would agree that there is a definitive line in the metal scene. And exactly like you said, the old school metalheads, when new metal came out, they're like, what the fuck is this garbage?
Right.
And then after so long, that kind of drone in. Like, okay, Korn and Slipknot and Cold Chamber, they're metal bands, And then I feel like that line defined again when the metalcore started getting popular.
Yeah, for sure.
I just fucking break down shit. And I feel like that's still a continuous thing in the metal scene is there's always, that's not real metal.
Yeah.
That's not black and death metal from Norway. That isn't death metal from Florida. There's a very and for our generation, I would say that's more in lines with the metalcore. I feel like once that bands like Asking Alexandria and Attack, not so much bands prior to that, Bleeding Through and stuff. I don't feel like it was. I was also younger, so it might not have been noticed by me. But I feel like definitely more once it got into that more electronic metalcore sound. I feel like that was when it was this is new. This is teeny bopper stupid shit and stuff. And it's in a sense it is, and it isn't all metal. It's my thing is it's a non-mainstream music. Whether you listen to Asking Alexandria or you listen to Slayer, you're not supporting the top 40 big fucking pop artists. You're still supporting rock and metal music and letting that flourish. While it seems like even in today's listening, just rock and metal is going down while hip hop and stuff is continuously on the rise. And it's we should be more unified together. Even some of the bands we play with, we try to play with a ton of different genres of bands just because it makes it more fun. And it's more accepting to everybody. We're not trying to, that's not fucking metal. It's, even in the forums, you go on Facebook, you go to almost any metalhead forum, people argue religiously. And it's just if you just take a step back and look at the big picture and notice that's not your top 40. Fucking Cardi B or whoever the fuck their name is, or Nicki Minaj, you're not listening to that stuff, which there's nothing wrong to, even if you listen to it, because, again, being one of a kind, being yourself, you listen to whatever you want to, but I feel like with the metal community, they would thrive together, unified, as opposed to being separated. Our friends in Rip Open the Sky from up in New York, their singer Randy, that's his catchphrase is "Together we flourish," and truly, I feel like for the metal community, together we would flourish, as opposed to, well, I don't want to play with that band because they're not metal or they have electronic pieces in their music. It's like, it is what it is. And let it be what it is.
Sure. And I think people don't understand, too, that one thing always leads to another. So, you know, if you're like a subscriber to metal, you're somebody who listens to it all the time or reads magazines about it or websites or whatever, and you see a band that you don't like or whatever, just scroll past it, just flip the page, don't fucking worry about it, because they might influence another band that you do like. You know, there might be a band that's coming up from the scene who says, I like, you know, Motionless in White or whoever the band is. I want, it makes me want to create metal, and then you end up liking that band. So, like, maybe it's not your cup of tea, but they might be doing something else. As long as, like you said, metal keeps going.
I feel like Metallica is one of those bands.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, before the Black Album, everything before that was their best work, and after that CD, it sucked, and it's like, they're like, oh, they're the shittiest band out there, and it's like, you do know, like, they influenced so many bands that influenced other bands, exactly as you said. Like,
Right.
You're going back to your roots. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna hear us like, oh, Black Sabbath's the worst fucking band ever, because that's the stem. That's
Right,
where the
that's-
tree grew from, was from that, you know?
Absolutely. I think a lot of stuff too, like you know, in the early days, whether it's Sabbath or Dio or any of those types of things, kids today listen to that and go, "Oh, that's cheesy.
That's
Oh,
dad rock."
Yeah. Oh, that sounds
That's
weird.
my favorite
you know?
terminology.
Yeah,
dad
you
rock.
hear that all
That's
the time, and it's like,
fucking
well, where do you think your shit came from?
Yeah.
It's dad rock for a reason. It was that was the father of whatever you're listening
Exactly.
to now. You know.
It all stems from somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't bash your roots. You don't know where everything came from.
And everything comes back around too. Like, okay, if this little wave isn't your thing, the next wave of music is going to come along, and that's going to be your thing.
Give it 5 or 10 years, and the whole thing will be switched.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, everything comes back into vogue, and you know, other bands come up, and they seem like they're doing something new, but really they're doing something that people did 30, 40 years ago. They just forgot about at this point.
Yeah, it's-
You know, there's so much of that. In fact, we were talking about Vinny. He just commented. He said, "I miss Slipknot's rise due to their image. I never really gave them the time of day because I first saw their image. I was already in my mid-30s and thought, oh, this is for kids, and I was wrong. So, and yeah, that's absolutely true too. Is I think there was a lot of great stuff, like Mudvayne's a great example.
Yeah.
They put out some amazing stuff, and I think they were dismissed right away because they did the makeup thing.
Even
you know,
Motionless in
like-
White.
Very
But
much
the
so,
whole
yeah.
shock rock garage that
Yeah,
they got
yeah, you
going
know, it
on.
does the you
That
know,
puts
it's
a
the
lot of
goth
people
thing,
off.
and you know, people are, oh, he's just a Marilyn Manson wannabe or something like that because he's, you know, with the white face paint and the dark hair and stuff, and it's like, well,
For all you know, that he could have been a huge Manson fan growing up, and he's just pulling in from his influence. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
Like,
which Manson obviously took from a lot of other guys too. You know,
Exactly.
so it's not like any of these guys are truly original in any sort of way, unless maybe you're like David Bowie or something who's
Yeah.
just, you know, a fucking alien who came from outer space and graced us with his presence for a few decades. But you know, I think people really do miss that part of it and don't understand. You know, one thing kind of leads to another, or they're focused on stuff like that where, yeah, Slipknot wore masks and stuff like that, and they still do.
or that
but-
they have more than one drummer, and it's like,
Yeah.
but that's like their live stage show.
But it gets, you know, a lot of it is just, you know, a matter of marketing and pulling people in. You know, there was that, you know, before the internet was still kind of new and stuff like that. I remember it was a big thing to like, what do they look like underneath the mask? And there was always people like, there was the entire message boards and things dedicated to like, oh, I got this crappy picture of this guy, and I think that's what Corey Taylor looks like and stuff. And for years it was like, what do these guys all look like? And everybody trying to share pictures around it. And to me, that just gets the conversation started. That just makes you want to go,
Sparks the
who the
interest.
hell are these guys? What is this all about? And then you want to listen to it, you know. And that's all part of it, you know. And who cares where it all started? You know, that was the thing between them.
long as you
Mushroom
enjoy
Head,
it.
who did it first and stuff like that. It's like, none of you guys did it first. Everybody's done that, you know, makeup and masks and stuff like that. Alice Cooper was doing
Mushroom
it
Head is
when
what-
these guys
what
were
about Gwar?
kids. Yeah. Right, exactly. Guar's been around
They had the whole
forever.
fucking universe made.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's the whole backstory and stuff like that. So I think people are too focused on that stuff. So does that affect how you create music at all? Does that Do you just try to let that conversation not really affect what you're doing?
To a point, we just kind of write how we want to write. It's like we write, obviously, like we write for the fans and everything, what they like and stuff like that, but most of it is written for ourselves. Like, if we're thoroughly enjoying what we're doing, then we're game with it.
Right.
As opposed to, like, well, I think we should write like this to appeal to this market because that could push us to these people. And
Right.
As long as we're happy, then we feel like our fans will be happy. Because we're not trying to do anything wrong by them. You know, we want to put out quality music that they can vibe with and get down, headbang, jump around the mosh pit, whatever floats their boat.
So how did that affect your new EP that you have coming out? I was listening to it today. I listened through it twice to kind of get an idea of what it was, and it does seem more like there's a consistency throughout. Was that on purpose, or was that just kind of just came out that way? Or?
I think it kind of came out that way. The fun thing with the EP was we worked with several different musicians on it. After The Gamble was released, our drummer Phil departed, and we picked up Nelson Negron. He used to play for the Queef Tones, and now he drums for Alpha Audio, and we had a couple songs we were working with him for a little while, and then life happened, things didn't work out, and then Nelson left, and then we brought Nathan in, our current drummer, and I'm tongue-tied. When Nelson came in, Nathan's twin brother Seth came in to play guitar. So we had two brand new people.
Okay.
So that was like around the time Deadweight came around. That was like the first song off that CD that was finalized, because that was even with Phil, was we were starting to write the sketch of it. He departed, Nelson came in, finalized that, started spitting ball, and we had like 7 or 8 songs written with Nelson, and we used 2 of them. We used Deadweight and Battlecry.
Yeah.
And then after Nelson departed, we brought Nathan in, and Inner Demons was the first song that we wrote as a collective group with that. And then we were spitballing on like Time Flies and Family, and then Seth ended up departing, and that's when we brought this beautiful, handsome gentleman, Matthew, in.
Yeah.
And that was like the finalization towards like Time Flies and Family, and then the full collaboration of the current lineup would be the opening and closing song. Failure and Blink would be our most recently wrote songs that we have done as the current lineup. So I feel like those would be the songs I would pitch to people to listen to more, because that's our recent writing. That's probably a little bit more the direction we're going to be going.
Okay.
A lot of it, I would say, like those songs are a lot of cohesive. It also could be just musicianship of just growing up, getting used to each other. Like, hey, like The Gamble, we really wanted to try to be different on every single song. So this one, I would say we're a little more reserved. We knew what we were kind of looking for or looking to get out of each song, like what to present. And like even lyrically, like a lot of the songs, a lot of them are dark.
It's heavy as fuck.
I was going through a
It's
lot.
absolutely heavy as fuck.
I've been definitely going through a lot of like mental fucking shit over the course of, like the last year and a half of working on this, and like
Yeah.
So a lot of the songs are dark. Like Inner Demons is just about that voice you hear in your head telling you can't do this. You fucked up. You shouldn't be here. You're worthless. Like, you always have that angel on one shoulder and then the devil on the other. That song is specifically of the devil, how he whispers into your ear, while like Blink is about live your life, live fast. 10 years ago, did you know where you would be right now?
Absolutely not.
So life moves blink of an eye. 10 years goes by.
That's the fucking truth.
It
Thanks for sharing the music, by the way. I appreciate that.
Oh, you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. I'm not prepared at all. It was all news to me.
Then, let's see. Failure's kind of in the same aspect as like Inner Demons. It's just more along the lines of the intro of it is break these chains and set me free, and it's just the negativity of your life, just break yourself from it. Into the chorus piece of the song, it's I am my own worst enemy, my demons sing to me, and it's again the devil on your shoulder,
Look at you now. You're back to where you started. Well, what do you know? You're questioning life again. Well, all I see is your future, and I believe that you're a failure. So it's like, that's a lot into the negative, while the song's like family. That's about the fans. That's you. We don't even consider you guys our fans. We became more like fucking family with a lot of the people that comes to our shows, as opposed to a lot of our own family. I see people that continuously come to our shows more often than a lot of my own family. So that was the sense that it's like, you're the blood in our veins. Without you guys, we're not doing shit. You know, it is what it is, and that goes for any band. And any band without their fan base, you're fucking nothing. You're just dudes making sound. Unless someone's vibing with what you're doing, then you're just making noise. Battlecry was a little bit more towards, towards my mom. She's very big into like the Civil War and World War II and everything like that. So that was like more like a standpoint on, I'd say more towards like the Vietnam War, like soldiers being sent to fight for shit reasons, or because the government says so.
Right.
So you kill the mothers and fathers and daughters because they say so. Mm-hmm. Like the ending of that song is, it's a bang and a flash. You take a life for their decisions. So pretty much like, we have friends that are soldiers and stuff like that, and just seeing like anguish going through, and it's like government sanctioned. Nothing against the military. We're for the military, for the soldiers. I can't do the shit that you do, and I appreciate what you do.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you for your service. Do not take that in any negative way. As just a standpoint, an artistic standpoint on this.
And it's tough because you have to kind of like, you know, in today's internet age and outrage culture and everything else, you have to really watch everything you say, and you can't just say stuff like that without somebody jumping in and trying to put words in your mouth. Or
a couple of our friends are soldiers, and when we've released that song, they messaged and they're like, "Yeah, that's kind of a interesting topic." Or we're like, "We're not saying we disagree with you. It's just definitely different perspective." And I was just like, I think it was because I was a hippie. I had my dreads in at the time.
Yeah.
So I was kind of more like, peace, man.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And it's not to say that you can't be for the soldiers and against sending them off to die for no good reason. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I think people don't seem to understand the difference there. You know, anytime you see anybody who's anti-war or protesting war or anything like that, it's nothing against the people that are actually doing it. It's the people who are making the decisions, because they're usually benefiting in some form or another, whereas the soldiers aren't.
Absolutely.
You know? The same people that send them off to die come back and cut their benefits, and, you know, don't give them the health care, mental and physical, that they need, and that kind of stuff. So you have people talking out the sides of their mouths. And I think that's where a lot of that anger can come from.
Absolutely. Let's see, what other songs did I touch on? Deadweight. Deadweight is the first one we did. That is simply cut whoever or whatever is holding you back in your life from what you could accomplish. Whether it's a person or a thing, a job, whichever. If you feel like it's holding you back from what you could accomplish, then cut the dead weight. Get it gone. Let's see. Time Flies. The song Time Flies. It's similar to like the concept of Blank, in the title Time Flies, but I was going through a lot of personal issues with my son and stuff like that. Spent a lot of nights just daydreaming, just wishing to turn back time, make things how I wish I could have made them.
Yeah.
So that was more like a personal reflection song on me about how if I rewind all these years, I wonder who I would be now or where I would be now. My mind is always stuck in the past. And in the chorus piece, so we spell out Time, time. It's not waiting for me. It's not waiting for you or you. Time waits for no man. Time goes. So make the most of your time that you have, and to the best ability and your best decisions that you could.
Now, Matt, how was it for you coming into a band that's been established for a little bit, and you know what drew you into it? What made you want to stay in this band?
It was pretty cool because one of my best friends that I grew up in school with and everything, he ended up working with B-Knock, our bass player. And when The Gamble first came out, he sent me a link to the Spotify, and he's like, "Yo, you guys, you got to check this out. You like motionless and heavy music, listen to this." I listened to it straight through at first, and I was like, I got to come and see these guys. They're really cool. Let me see if they're like that as musicians and stuff. And I I was only playing covers on my guitar in like my room at the time just for fun, and like I wanted to come out and see some people that could influence me. And when I did, I came to the first show for them. It was during the summertime last year, and they were playing at the V Spot. And Eric came right out, second song when they were playing All In, screamed the vocals with me, made me really feel like I was at home at a show. And it was really cool to see like that whole like underground aspect in NEPA and see that whole thing going on there.
Yeah.
But I came around as a fan for a while, quite a bit of shows I was there for. And every time they'd play in the area I would go to.
About 6 months.
Yeah.
At least June to you came in about December.
Yeah. I started practicing and stuff with you guys like right around November-ish. And
That's a good 5 months or so.
Yeah.
And he was at every show. I considered Matt like family because I seen him more than I see like my cousins and stuff, aunts and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a really cool experience just to be able to have, a group of people that like I look up to Mike. I still look up to Mike White as like a phenomenal guitarist. And since the day I saw him live for the first time, I was like, wow, like this guy could really teach me a lot on like how to play exactly the riffs that I want to. Like I always wanted to play growing up. I wanted to play riffs like Metallica and Lamb of God. That was the two that I always wanted to. And everything that Mike played had that vibe to it, but it was completely different in its own way.
Yeah.
And that's what made it like grab me so quick and brought me in there. And working with him and working with Eric and Nathan and everybody, I mean, all the talented musicians have made me like go from a guitarist that really had somewhat of an idea, but I really feel confident in like pitching things that I have now on my own instrument. It's really cool.
Nice. So, you guys are putting out an EP in, an era where people don't buy music anymore. And so what how does that affect how you're releasing this? Because, I saw you, like, you were asking people on Facebook, on your fan page and stuff, like, what do you want to see? Do you want physical copies? Do you want, digital? Should be on Spotify, that kind of stuff. And, there's this is in light of a report that just came out. I don't know if you saw this. It was shared on a lot of music sites, Rolling Stone stuff, did a lot of stuff on it. So a new report by Citigroup says U.S. listeners are spending more money on music than ever, which is not what you would think. Over $20 billion a year. Total music revenues, including on-demand streams, CD sales, radio play, live events, advertising, have risen to about $43 billion a year. Of that, artists only take home $5 billion, or about 12%. So at the end of the day, the people who are actually making this stuff are making 12% of the overall revenue that you see coming out of music and all the stuff that comes from that, concerts and, CDs and everything else. So, does that affect your approach at all, or does it make you kind of think twice about, what you put into this?
To a point, I would say we want to make sure it's quality because there's such an oversaturation in your market. Mm-hmm. Like the internet, it was great because everyone could connect with each other, but then you have your band, my band, your band, your band, your band, your band, all pitching it all to the same place. Right. So that's why I try to reach out to see where our fan base is at. Like, how do you listen to our music? Do you listen on YouTube? Do you listen on Spotify? Do you play the CD? Because I'm a sucker for CDs. I have my whole back of my car is just compiled with CDs upon CDs upon burned discs and stuff. So like, I'm diehard. We got to have a physical copy. And even at shows, like in the formation of the band, we always wanted to make sure we had physical CDs because you never want that guy like, oh, you guys were great. Can I buy your CD? And it's like, you could go to cdbaby.com, type our name in. No, he drank fucking 9 beers. He ain't gonna remember that. He wants to buy it right then and there, and then tomorrow go.
Even if he had one beer, it wouldn't matter.
What was this? Who the fuck is this? I can't even read the name. It's from death metal garbage. And put it in a CD player,
Right.
So it wasn't as much in our approach because we put our music. I feel like if you're an unsigned musician or band, like you have to get yourself anywhere and everywhere you possibly could because there's just that oversaturation, and the more you see a name, the more you're more drawn to it.
Right.
Like you've seen us live. How many times on stage do I say, "We're Traverse the Abyss from Scranton, PA"? I'm going to fucking ring your ears with that.
Yep.
But when we're done, you're going to remember.
Right.
And it's damn sure that you're going to remember. And I picked that up from a rapper. We went and seen a Cottonmouth Kings concert, and one of the Snow the Product was the rapper's name, and she opened the show earlier on, and the entire time she kept drilling my name, and she's like, listen, I know I'm a broken record, I know it's annoying, but you're going to remember it. And that stuck with me, and it was just like, that's
Right.
true. The more you hear it or see it, so that's why we're on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Bandcamp, Reverb Nation, YouTube, Deezer, fucking... Even on the CD, baby, when you upload it, I just hit everything.
Yeah.
Just everything, because I want it, everything. As for, like, the approach, I would say you need to make sure you're doing quality work. You can't just put anything out, because there's such... You put something out, the big dog who puts something good out is going to go...
Sure.
And there's just, like... I would say, yeah, it seems people are more prominent to music and buying... I won't say buying CDs or downloading or listening to music, going to attending concerts and stuff like that. But I'm gonna take a sip of this.
Yeah. Which one's
This
this?
is
one?
the SBC Oktoberfest, which is
Oh, okay.
actually really good.
It is quite good.
It is good. But I would say, like, yeah, with the market, I feel like the streaming industry, because like Spotify, you only make like 0.033 cents a stream. So essentially, if we sold this for you for $10, we would have to get what, like 1,500 streams or something like that to start getting close to revenuing what could be a regular CD sale. But physical sales seem to be down, as opposed to streaming industry is what's
Right.
going.
That's what's skyrocketing.
A friend of mine get in a fight every month. It's a group text.
Yeah.
There's like 5 of us, and I'll see a report come out like that. You just read, and I'll say this, and he'll come back with some smart ass comment. Because I'm a big advocate for buying the music, from the artist. And these guys are musicians too. And he's like, well, why would I pay for something I don't like? That's garbage. And that goes back to what you said. You have to make quality. But I'm a big advocate for buying the actual music and not streaming and all that shit. Yeah, you can spend $10 a month. It's great. That's good for the consumer.
Yeah, and you can listen to whatever you want, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you're not really benefiting your artist.
Not at
There's a trick to that, actually. I fucking scrolled around Facebook. Have your fans, anyone listening, follow suit with this. Tell your fans when they go to bed at night, press play on your Spotify, put repeat, turn the media down if they don't got to work in the next morning, plug their phone in, let it go to bed. Let that shit replay and stream
Ah, that's a good.
constantly.
Right.
And it'll make your numbers, it's a lie, but it'll make your numbers look good too. Your numbers will all rise. Which,
And that's tough because you gotta reach certain numbers to get the attention of certain people.
well, look at Send Request. They just got picked up by a huge label. Before the day they announced it, they had, 22,000 monthly listeners? And
Right.
that's like an astronomical dream for us. We're like, yeah, we got like 100 people that listen to us avidly on Spotify. And you go on their page and it's like, oh, wow. But they fucking put in their work. They played Warped Tour twice, so like all the
Yep.
power to them, and
Yeah.
fucking I hope the best for them.
Sure.
I love those guys.
Well, I've been talking to them now, so maybe they'll. Hopefully, within the next couple of weeks, we'll have them on the show. So we want to talk about some of that stuff with them. This is not a topic that we're just going to discuss here, because speaking of how much you get for streams, I made a note of this too. Peter Frampton just put this on Twitter the other day. He said, for 55 million streams of "Baby I Love Your Way." Now everybody knows that song, whether you know Peter Frampton or not. You know that song. I got $1,700. That's 55 million streams. He got $1,700. So he went to Washington last year to talk to lawmakers about this. And he said their jaws dropped, and they asked me to repeat that number for them. And that's exactly the point. Is I think we need to get to a point now where we get, as much as I hate to get politics involved in anything, especially art, you have to have laws set up or things like that people get a certain amount of money, because you saw that in the 80s and 90s where record companies just went rampant, just absolutely fucking bands in the ass, just constantly taking millions and millions from these guys, people who had huge hits. You know, Destiny's Child being a great example of, you know, like a band who everybody knew who they had a million hits, and they were broke within a couple of years because all of that money was going to the record companies who were making the money off that
One
stuff.
nice thing about being a DIY artist is there's no other hands in the pot.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. So there's that, you know, do you really want to deal with a record company? Like, do you want to get signed at this point?
It's like, it's
Yes
weird
and
though.
no. It's a
Yeah,
double-edged
'cause
sword.
it is. It's exactly that, because like they have the power too.
They
Right.
can put you to the audience
Yeah.
that you can't reach, or like
Exactly.
even booking inquiries.
Yep.
Are you gonna take? You're gonna take my email because we already chatted and stuff
Yeah.
prior. Now, if Matt messages you, you're gonna go, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're more inclined to answer my message as opposed to someone random.
Right.
So even with bookings and stuff, I would say like the label could get you into the market and everything you need, but at the same point, like if you work hard enough yourself, you can make whatever you want happen. Like our tour dates from after we release the CD, we're booking into November and December already. We're trying to fill up the whole run. Just get before it gets cold and
Yeah.
everyone wants to go build a snowman, or we want to take our husky out in the
Yeah.
snow. So like, yeah, you just a lot even booking, like independent booking. You get so many people like, hey, band's looking to book in this area, hit me up, and you message them and they just leave you on red, and it's like, well, I knew if I was signed to this label, you'd be fucking answering that message every 20 minutes. Is everything okay? How's this work? Does this work good? Have you talked to the guys yet?
Right.
So like, I feel like a label could definitely be beneficial, but at the same time, you have people in the pot like, oh, that song Family, I don't like that song. Got it.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you don't get a say in it because
Yeah.
they fucking govern your every move. Or
Well, they're fronting the bill for
Yeah.
you. You know, they have an investment
Yeah.
to, you know.
so
Yeah.
and by rights, if they're fronting for you, they should.
Yeah.
But it could even be like how Motionless in White, they do the fucking shock rock kind of dress up, and they could be like, yo, why don't you guys do like a Rocky Horror Picture thing? Get all like drag.
right.
I think that'll suit your
Because
style.
we can market that right now. That's hot right now with the kids.
We,
The kids
we're,
really
me
like
and
that.
him are looking at each other like, and he's going, oh, according to this right here, you don't got a choice.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
we've been spitting ball into some labels and stuff like that, but at the same point, until the right things comes around, we're gonna just stick to doing it ourselves.
I think back in the day too, like the labels had those contracts, and they would slip those fine lines in there.
Yeah.
And as an artist, you're like, holy fuck, I don't give a fuck what's
Right,
happening. Like,
right.
yeah, where do I sign? I made millions of dollars, and it's like you said, like, oh no, you got to do this and this and
Yeah.
this, and we need 3 records.
Yeah, but
in
your
6
drummer
years.
has to go on stage wearing nipple clamps and a ball gag in his mouth.
Yeah, well, you signed the contract.
Well,
It's like, fuck,
how's he gonna drum?
figure it out?
Right.
But yeah,
You guys had you got an endorsement from Dirtbag.
Yep, I'm actually representing him right now.
So I wanted to talk about that. How did that come about, and what is the benefit for you guys? How does that work?
That came about in Threat Point because they're endorsed by them as well.
Okay.
And they offer like tour support program where like they'll hook you up. They'll send you a basic Dirtbag shirt to sell with your merch. So okay, for instead of $20, you just get our shirt. For $20, you get our shirt and our endorsement shirt. So they're leaving with an extra product. So they'll do like stuff like that to help get you going. And then they've been around since like '96. They worked with like Dirtbag Darrell, Buckstone Cherry, and stuff like that. So like they have like big names that they work with. So it's kind of like just spin around trying to see who's feeling what we're doing, who would be down to back us a little bit and stuff like this. And
Right.
I petitioned our stuff to Dirtbag the moment we debuted the band, and it wasn't until about February or March of 2017 I heard back from them. They're like, yeah, we like what you're doing and we want onto it. And like with artists, like you get artist discount on their clothes. Like I just bought a brand new hoodie and it was like $25 or something like that. It was originally $55. So like if you're rocking their gear, you want to represent and wear their stuff. Like I usually when I play, I try to wear like something to represent them. And
Yeah.
it's like they knock the price like half price everything. And then like their tour support program. So so and so scouts us and thinks we're a good band, and they put us on a month-long tour, and we're worried about money. So you can hit Dirtbag up and be like, yo, like, and what's up with the tour support program? And they'll send you like keychains or t-shirts and stuff like that. They actually, Mike was saying, because when he was still in the band with Threat Point, when they did their West Coast run, and they actually cashed in, they brought him like a bunch of shirts and like, I forget how many hundreds of dollars of free shit. And they're like, well, what do you want us to do with it? And they're like, that is your discretion.
Oh, cool.
If you want to pair it up for your shirt sales to help promote sales and push our name, go for it. But they're designed to like help you with whatever you need. Like even like they do like Spotify pages and stuff like that to help promote your music. They're lined in with a couple different companies, like Scorpion Percussion's one, so you can get discount on bundles, packs of drumsticks and stuff like that. And so a lot of it's just connecting and just making more friends and representing a brand that's been backing bands since '96. Like I was fucking 3 years old when they established. So it's like, and they worked with like iconic name Dimebag Darrell.
Make us feel older, why don't you?
Like they worked
Let's
with
wrap
like.
this up.
Nope.
I go to bed.
They like and like even like Dimebag Darrell was like one of like the founding people.
I remember
back in the
that,
day.
yeah.
It's just like just
Absolutely.
to like be on the same page as the bands like there. Like you go on their homepage and just go through their endorsed artists. It's like the first thing is like headliners. So there's like Blackstone Cherry and I think even Hailstorm was one of them. Like a lot of known artists, and then it'll be like co-headliner, and it'll be like some upcoming artists that are kind of big, and that'll be like direct support will be all like the local bands, and they're from California, so it's like West Coast to East Coast, like everywhere. And like even with that, you can link up with bands. There's a band Shrouded in Neglect. They're from Pittsburgh, and because they're a Dirtbag artists, we've been bullshitting with them. We're gonna try to pull them up here, then pull us out to Pittsburgh and Ohio and stuff. So like it's a lot of connections. So mainly that was a lot of things to line up, go towards a established veteran company that is willing to help you and make connections and everything. So that was kind of the lean towards Dirtbag. And yeah, so far they've been great. They do graphic work for you. They'll do lyric videos. Like I said, they have other endorsements, so they could partner you up with their partners and stuff like that. So all around,
Nice.
they're there to help you. They're not, and there's no monthly fee or annual fee for being part of their endorsed artists. It's as long as you're doing as long as you're promoting them, pretty much. You're
Right.
pretty much game with it. So
Well, you've done that already. So if they're
I hope Smitty or John, one of you guys, are watching.
But you know, it's cool that those options are out there for unsigned artists, and I think a lot of them, because we have them on the show all the time, and I always encourage them to tune in and watch other bands and stuff, because you can learn this kind of stuff. I don't think a lot of people know these options are out there, or they're not really looking for them. I see so many artists, and not just bands, but artists in general, who just sit on Facebook all day and just bitch and bitch and bitch. And it's like the time that you spend sitting there whining and complaining
could've sent
or
10
drowning your
emails out.
sorrows or whatever, exactly. You should be hustling, you know, and that's the thing that I've seen you guys do from the very beginnings. You're always hustling, you're always promoting, you're always pushing stuff, and you're always looking for those opportunities. And I think that's important.
My fiance fucking yells at me all the time. He goes, "You're always on your fucking phone." I'm like, "Oh, I'm talking to this guy. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sending an email. I'm doing this." So it sucks because I hate being buried in my phone, but at the same point, like the smartphones, why not use the technology that's in your hand? It takes me, I could send out 10 emails and it takes 2 minutes, or even like, oh, we're CD reviews. We want people, so I could send it to ourselves and then forward it. Oh, I'll forward it to Popco, I'll forward it to Rich, I'll forward it to Matt, I'll forward it to this person, and it's like,
Yep.
boom, that's just more reach for you. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people, like, I won't name drop anybody because I don't want anyone to be upset or anything, but like,
Sure.
you do see people just bitch. Well, why weren't we part of this? We'll just send them an email.
I see that all the time. People,
We'll just send
I
them
should have
an
been
email.
on this show, and it's like, you know, now that promoter is going to remember you for being the guy that bitched at them, and now he's not going to book you.
Well, it's
know?
like, yo, did you send them an email? No. Well, what are they gonna fucking go to your house, knock on? We would like to quarterly invite you to perform at this. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you gotta fucking do your dirt.
Yeah.
It sucks, but fucking, even depending, like some booking agents or like venues and stuff, they want different things.
Yeah.
They want a live video or something like that. So then your typed up draft message you have to pitch them, you have to go back and, all right, I gotta type the whole fucking thing. I have to spell Mierzejewski and I have to spell Banicki fucking 4 more times. Like, great Italian, Polish names I can't fucking spell. But yeah, it just the harder you work for something, the more you'll get out of it. And even if it's not like you get signed or anything, just personal satisfaction that something you created, you're fucking pushing and promoting.
Right.
So like, even in a sense, fucking, I guess self-satisfaction. We enjoy what we do. So wherever it goes is where it goes.
I think you could relate to that with your.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Constantly, and you know what? It never ends, too. You know, there's never a point where you can kind of rest on your laurels because, you know, now that we're watching, you know, a lot of the local newspapers, local media, people we used to work for getting laid off left and right, and you know, established media, it's been around for decades. That you think, well, they can never die because they're just such a big name, you know, too big to fail. And it's like you can't take anything for granted. You have to keep working hard. You have to keep adapting to new technology, and that's why you're seeing a lot of the papers around here who just haven't adapted, haven't figured out how to crack the code when it comes to social media, and they're all heading out the door. And I you know, I don't take it for granted because when we started the site, Facebook was the biggest thing for us in terms of growth. And now that's starting to dwindle a lot. So now I have to, you know, look at other ways to grow the site and to get stuff out there.
I do
because Facebook limits so much of what you do. And I know the bands struggle with that so much too.
That's why we're trying to move a lot of our stuff over towards like Instagram and Twitter, is because it's just more direct.
Yeah.
I could tweet you and it comes right to you.
Sure.
While like if we post on Facebook, it's please boost this post for $12.99 to reach 200 people or whatever it is, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to pay you guys to fucking reach people that already went and liked the page. If they already went and liked the page or followed you, then they should be entitled to see your shit.
Right.
Why do I gotta pay you $20 to run an ad for 7 days that people might click on?
That's the worst part.
Yeah, it's not even guaranteed. It's like might. Now, if it was like, hey, once you reach 20 people and clicked on this link,
Sure.
then you're good. But no, it's just, hey, we're gonna throw this in. So, okay, you're on the toilet, and you're going by and, traverse the abyss, blah, blah, blah. Boom.
Yeah, it's
and
gone.
you fucking, yeah, right past it.
And a lot of times they consider that a view too, you know.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, you saw it for 2 seconds. That's a view, and that's what you're paying for. And it's like, you know, in the old days, you know, I've been running websites since I was 15. So, you know, it was a very different world where it was like pay per click, and so at least you understood that if you were buying an ad, you're paying for a click through to your site for people to actually look at it.
Yeah, not just a click.
And now it's like now it's a view kind of thing where
Yeah, just pop up in your timeline.
yeah.
For what? You just scroll past it?
That's why, you know, it angers me going back to, you know, what we were saying about people just angrily, you know, typing on Facebook all day. I see so many people who waste their social media presence with that kind of crap, arguing with politics with people who are never going to change their minds or things like that, instead of, you know, if you really do believe in local music and you want to see it succeed, you should be sharing it. If you really do believe in what we're doing here, if you believe in the site and our mission, then you should be sharing this right now. You should be hitting that share button and letting people know about it. You know, don't take it for granted. Or, you know, I see people all the time who are like, we do concert announcements. They'll find out about the concert through us, and then they share the Facebook event. That didn't help me at all. You found out about the event because of our site. Share our article about it. Don't share the Facebook event about it.
A lot of people don't
That only benefits
understand.
Facebook.
A lot of people just don't understand that.
No,
Like,
they don't.
If you like the algorithm that goes with Facebook, is they want every single person to like, comment, and share.
And that's not everyone's fault.
No, it's not,
I mean,
because
like,
not everybody's in this
not
same
everyone's
situation.
in that world, and they don't know.
Or you might not
the
even have
things we
content
know.
that they
Sure.
want to share
You
on
know?
their personal page.
But I mean, like for instance, the stuff with the Steamtown Music Awards.
Yes.
You know, people are sharing stuff, but they'll share the polls, but they won't say like, oh, vote for Rich Howells. They won't say vote for John Popko. They won't say vote for, you know.
Yeah, because they don't get how it works. So
they just
then-
hit share and then expect people to know what to do. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's not their fault. It's just what they do.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, the text doesn't come up. It'll just come up the poll.
Yeah.
So-and-so shared, and it'll just be the poll.
Yeah,
and you're like,
And you're like,
well,
well, okay, what do I do with this?
Like, what do I do with that?
What is
Right.
this? Like,
And like even the comment, like you don't even have to make a fucking comment. Just put a thumbs up. Just as long as you're posting something on there, it spreads us out.
Yeah.
Yep.
But not like people. I mean, like I think we're on like the cusp. Like people like above us, who are older than us, don't quite understand it. People like younger than us,
Yep.
that's all they know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I did want to mention you guys have a tour bus as well, which is an actual bus.
Yeah.
Which is rare nowadays. You never see that anymore, especially from local bands. You never see like people hanging out on a bus and driving. How did you get that?
Pretty much, we had a couple connects. One through Mike White. He had lined it up so one of his girlfriend's family friends, so to speak. I'm not trying to throw any, but pretty much we worked it out that person owned a bus company and was like, hey, we're like, oh, you're doing well with the band, and we want to buy a bus. Because like Threat Point has their bus.
Yeah.
So like since we're left that band, we're like, we need one. We need one again. And we originally were gonna get a full-sized one or a medium-sized one, and he was like, no, that one wasn't that price. He's like, I could get you this one. So we got the short bus. But yeah, we just took the inside, rip all the seats out. We originally had like a futon and then just like little lounge chairs and shit like that. But then we gutted it, and Mike put down made benches. He just bought some wood, made benches. Our bass player was getting rid of a mattress, so he cut up the mattress and they put it on so it's cushiony. And so on the inside, when you walk in, it's just benches, and then the back section we're able to fit the gear, and up top there's 2 shelves for little things, drums and stuff like that. But even inside the bus, you could see we have everywhere we go, we have people come out and sign it.
Oh yeah. I saw
No
that.
matter if it's from State College or lower half of PA, Delaware, New York. We just have everyone come on and sign the bus, because then it makes it more personal for them too.
Yeah.
They get to go on these dudes from fucking Scranton showed up in a fucking school bus. They played, they were good. I got to go on, hang out with them, fucking drink a beer, smoke a joint or whatever, and then
That's one of the most important things now of people want an experience. So, and it's little shit like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
these guys
it goes a long way too.
It's on their fucking ceiling, that's cool.
We got some of our closest friends because of that now. I mean, we had a group of 4 people up at State College. We were playing a Battle of the Band show.
I bet they're watching right now.
They were there for dinner, just enjoying the food and the restaurant part of it. They came out. They loved us. I mean, we're real close with them now, thanks to that.
Yeah.
2 of them have our insignia on the back of our CD
Tattooed somewhere.
tattooed on their body, and that was the most crazy thing to ever I got that sent to me, and I was like,
yeah. It's amazing. I think it's amazing for them. It's amazing for you guys. It's just like you said, it's family. It's just you feel like part of something, and I don't want to say you're not, because this world is so fucking big.
Our fans and anyone who
You're-
helps works with us, our girlfriends, anyone, they are part of the band. It's not. And that's the thing other musicians have to get into their mind, is that your band isn't just the 4 or 5 people, 6 people or whatever in your group. It's everyone working with you. You know what I mean? It's your girlfriends that are going and helping out the shows, helping push merch while you're on stage. Your fans that are pushing you. You're all one unit. And the more thoroughly you work together, the more will come out of it.
And but it goes just if you respond to a fan's post on Facebook or Instagram, that alone speaks volumes.
Oh, absolutely.
If someone says, hey, I love you guys in Chicago. Hey, thanks so much for coming. Really appreciate it. They feel oh, shit. They recognize me, and I'm part of them, and it's...
Yep.
Well, even on onsite,
long
when we opened for Miss May and Upon a Burning Body, we opened for them a few times, and you tag on their thing open it for these guys, and their comment cool, or it could be a fucking, it could be their manager.
Yeah.
And just fucking Miss May, I just fucking liked her tweet. Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! But yeah, it's just even stuff like that. So I try to on our social media, because I do a lot of the operating. I try to make sure I get back to everyone in a timely fashion too. I try not to make people wait, because you never know. People I know if I posted something played with Miss May today. You guys were incredible. You're a giant influence on me, and they comment back thanks, dude. That's awesome. And as soon as you post it, you're thinking oh man, I wonder if they're gonna read it. I wonder if they'll say anything. And like then when they respond, you're like,
Holy shit! Yeah. That's what people want right now. That's the world we live in.
they need to feel a connection.
Yeah.
They need to feel part of it.
Well, especially now that bands aren't making the money that they used to, so they have to charge for VIP stuff.
Yeah.
Where
Which is cool,
which is I'm not against that, but I think a lot of fans get real pissed about that, and they're like, oh well, back in the day I used to just hang out with them, and now I have to pay to hang out with you guys. Like,
Yeah, but back in the day, it was like by accident.
right.
Like now, if I'm like, I want to meet them, I can pay money. Oh, I fucking make money.
Right.
I go to my 9 to 5 every day to make money. Like now, I can be guaranteed to have that opportunity.
Right.
That's cool.
Exactly. I think people aren't seeing both sides of that.
And even for bands, like you always gotta find a way to market yourself. You gotta find
Sure.
different sources of income.
Yep.
My one buddy, I seen he made grew a bunch of cucumbers and he's making pickles. His band's going on tour and he's like, I'm gonna be fucking selling pickles.
Yeah.
But that'll fucking you get hungry, you eat your pickles, you sell a couple, throw gas in it, buy beer, whatever, fried chicken, like you always gotta make sure income's coming in. And like one of the groups I like to mention is like the rap group Twisted. Their marketing is fucking phenomenal. Anything and everything you could think
Did you
of.
see what they did for the last Warped Tour date with Chelsea Grin? Yeah, they did. They brought Tom out, and they had him do a song with them,
That's cool.
and it was amazing. And I mean, the views on it and the likes that they have compared to what they already get, it's like skyrocketed.
Sure.
Yeah, you always gotta find a way to keep hustling. And like, I like looking at people like that think of different marketing things. Like they talk a lot about like smoking weed, so they'll have like a grinder with their logo on it, and it's like that's fucking genius.
Yeah.
Like anything. I for our merch, I want anything and everything we could throw our names on.
Yeah, 'cause
Lighters, thongs,
yeah, you
jerseys,
figure
hats,
if-
anything.
If you're a pothead, you could have 5 grinders. If your favorite band has a grinder, you're buying that fucking grinder. You could have 10 grinders already. Like,
Yep.
You have the grinder, you have the lighter wrapped with them and everything. Be like, yo, I fucking bought this from Traverse Piss at their show, dude.
Yep.
And that's what it is. You always got, because money and bills never go away. That'll
money goes
never
away.
go away.
money goes away.
Money
pretty
goes
quick.
away,
Oh yeah, money goes away to the bills, and then they come back next month like, yo, what up?
So I wanted to go through a bunch of these comments quick before we wrap up, just because we did get a good amount. So thank you for contributing to the conversation. Reed Miller asked me if my wife Tanya bought me this shirt. I think he thinks it's a plain shirt. He says, Becky buys me plain shirts. They're trying to phase out my cool new nerd shirts. I know how that is, but my wife does not do that. This is a Behind the Gray shirt, so I want to give a shout out to those guys because they gave me this shirt, and it's a really cool fucking shirt. So it's not a plain shirt. It might look at it in certain light. I don't know how it shows up on camera, but it's a skull on here, and it's pretty cool actually. So
Like a brain.
yeah, well, there's a lot of once you get older, they're like, you don't wear those shirts anymore. I have Spider-Man shirts out the ass. I have Marvel shirts out the ass. I don't always do that, but the other half of my wardrobe is all band shirts. It's so important to represent bands on here. So anytime a band comes on, I usually try to get their shirt, or if I see them at a show or whatever, I'm like, I'm going to buy this so I can wear it on the show next week and stuff like that. So it's always important to represent wherever you go. Charlie Bucket had a bunch of comments.
What's up?
I'm assuming Charlie Bucket is probably not his real name, but that's all right.
It's Rusty. That's our friend from State College. He's one of the people that have our insignia tattooed on him.
Oh, nice. He said earlier in the conversation, happiness is a big deal. Define it makes a difference. When I see a band who loves what they do, music is all about appreciating an individual art form. Traverse just hits the nail on the head. That's true. It's we were talking about that earlier, about how important it is for you guys to be happy so that it pushes out on the fans.
You hear
too.
stories of bands where it's like, I don't know how true it is, but there's a rumored thing that Rob Zombie isn't a fan of his own music, but he's a fan of his fans and how they appreciate it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I would never want to be in that aspect where it's like, yeah, I got fans and stuff, but like, I fucking hate going out and doing that song.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out there and do Dragula. Fucking thing's stupid, you know? I mean,
Right.
I never want to
Yeah,
get
you
that,
never
like,
wanna get to
we're
that
not
point.
fucking playing Time Flies. I fucking hate that song, even though Mike loves that song. I'm not fucking playing that.
You have to reach like an absolute insane level of success to not play the hits. You know, like there's certain musicians out there who can kind of get away with that and make up their own set list, but otherwise you should probably play the hits along with whatever else you want
Which
to play.
goes with, like, Spotify. Your Spotify art for
Yeah.
artists. You could go on, like, oh, they're listening to this song, so yeah, let's throw that one in. Or you play a few shows and you check, like, all right, what songs are you listening to? And you notice, like,
Right.
hey, they're listening to all the songs that we've been playing. So, like, that could influence it as well, too.
Yeah, I think it's a good
Which is
thing that
cool,
people
though.
don't think of.
That's neat, though. The internet, man, is a double-edged sword.
Very much.
For sure.
Blessing and a curse is what I always say.
Charlie continues. Traverse is unique, and there's no not afraid to be the song "One of a Kind" is truth and so rare to hear that experience of a band be true to themselves, and that's true. I think there are certain there's certain artists where I feel like phone it in a lot of times, and this is what succeeded, so we're gonna have 10 more of those. Like we did just a post quickly today about Carrie Underwood is playing Hershey, and I was reading through her bio and stuff because they send you all that stuff when they announce a concert and things like that. And I'm like, it was halfway through the article. It was almost bragging, like, and out of all her hits, she wrote half of them. I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's something you want to put in the release and brag about, like, oh, she only
Just keep that on the fucking DL.
yeah, exactly. Like, maybe you should let people know that, like, these songs that are very personal to them that they love so much from this artist are written by 20 people behind the scenes. Like. And that's becoming a thing now, where you have entire teams write your albums for you, mostly on an algorithm of some sort. Like, here's what's hot now, so write something like that so we can get another hit out of these
Intro,
guys.
verse, chorus, verse 2, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty blonde, decent voice,
Yep.
auto-tune. Send it.
Famous artists now.
sticking out.
Famous artists now pay other famous artists to write their music now.
Yeah.
Like Bruno Mars writes stuff for Post Malone now. And it's like, those are two of your bigger artists up on the charts, and it's like, why are you doing this? You make your own stuff. Go away. Like, you're making enough
Why
money.
are you making him more money when you can make just more money?
Yeah.
William Chilak says, where's Nate? There was a couple people who were like, oh, where's the rest of the band? Well, people have schedules, right? They have other things they got to do.
Work, moving, getting out of work late. But you have Matthew Mierzejewski, and he is handsome, so enjoy him.
Emily
understand
Garrick
I'm
says,
not
what's
Nate.
up, Matt? So,
Hello.
Ryan Kavanaugh says, guys are coming a long way. Couldn't be more proud of you.
Thank you, Cav.
Thank you.
We'll watch you punch somebody during failure next time. Every time we play that song, as soon as your set starts, dude, I can't stop. I have to get going.
I gotta punch somebody.
Yeah.
Preferably Joe Bonds.
So Joe Bonds, TKO.
Yep.
Sharon Shikarsky says, Eric, we're so beyond proud of you guys.
Thank you, Shannon.
And Emily said, give us a shout out. Well, there's your shout out, Emily.
Emily! There you go.
What up?
Russell Austin, who's been on the show a few times, this interview has been fascinating. Thank you, Russell. And see, Russell's got the right idea. Russell is a comedian, but he supports other artists not outside of comedy. He's constantly at shows. I see him supporting everybody, sharing other people's stuff that he's not remotely involved in. Russell's got the right idea.
He's a nice guy, too. We performed with him before.
Oh, yeah,
Ray Mione did a
He's
comedy
actually
act.
the
right.
devil, but
Yeah, he is the devil,
he's the
but
devil,
we'll
yeah,
overlook
yeah,
that.
See, the one who ran outside during the Wolf Pub and was screaming at everybody on Courthouse Square? Yeah.
Yes,
I like
that's-
you. Watch
I
it.
like.
What's his line? Your dick's ugly! That shit was funny.
I think we had somebody else too at some point. Sorry if I missed anything. Charlie says, awesome interview, you guys. Appreciate what you do. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us and supporting this. And be sure to like this and share it with your friends after the show.
Like we said, sharing, and commenting on stuff on social media goes way farther than you can imagine.
Absolutely.
You can actually share this video and do nothing else. You don't even have to say, watch this video.
Right, exactly.
It's kind of self-explanatory. Just
Yeah.
share the video.
Just getting people's
People
feeds.
normally would see a video, and hopefully, if you're not stupid, you'll just hit the fucking play button at least for 5 seconds.
Russell did also ask earlier if Ray Mione comes to your shows. He's a known local metalhead who.
Oh yeah, Ray. We like to tease Ray and say we're not hardcore enough for him anymore, but he still comes out. He was big with Without a Martyr when we were a band. He used to come, we would bring him to shows all the time and everything. We were all younger kids at the time, so that's when we got close with Ray and stuff. Which we don't see him as much as we like.
See him every day.
Watch.
I love you, Ray.
Matt loves you.
Yeah.
I love you too.
I don't want to see you at work, though. I want to see you at shows next.
Yeah, doing your mosh thing,
Yeah.
punching people.
Don't be sending students to me. Come and throw down for us instead.
So let's plug the EP, the release show. It's this Friday, a couple Fridays from now. So you got a little bit of time to plan this out.
August 24th.
August 24th, 8 p.m. is the start time. I think
Yeah, doors are 7:30. Bands start at 8. We have local artist E57 and Stay Loud, and then we have our two friends from out of state, 86 Bullets from Maryland, who we played with at State College where we met Rusty and all of them, and our friends One Day Waiting from New York. And that band we've played with a few, that was Without a Martyr. We used to go to New York and we'd play with them all the time, so it was just a long time coming of getting them down to play with us for this area. That show will be at the V Spot, and I hope Vinny's watching. That handsome motherfucker.
He was earlier.
He was earlier. I knew he was. Because he goes, Eric has that Slipknot tattoo. I fucking love that kid.
Him and his fucking man bun.
Yep.
Yeah, August 24th at the V Spot, we'll be dropping the self-titled EP. You can pick it up for there. We'll be doing some pre-orders on iTunes and Google Play as well. The following day, great on timing,
Yes.
is the Next to Rock. You vote it and help push us to the top 10 in the local NEPA for the Next to Rock contest, which that will be Saturday, August 25th at Thirst Teas. And we get 3 songs, and we need every ounce of energy you have for this to support us. The winner of that date gets moved to the national panel, and 5 bands from the national panel get flown out to California to perform in the finals and possibly sign a record contract, work with WWE/Fozzie's Chris Jericho and Jonathan Davis of Korn, which I grew up a fucking diehard wrestling Chris Jericho fan and Korn fan, so this is right in the fucking heartstrings, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We want to see you both those nights. We actually might have a little promotion thing going on to make sure you come to both of those nights. We were talking maybe an
Free
exclusive
tents.
T-shirt or something like that.
Free
Okay.
tents so you can camp out.
I live a block away from Thirsties. They can fucking stay at the house.
There you go.
As long as you don't mind a little husky.
Free room and board.
Maybe some pickles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to hit Dan Babcock up and get those pickles. I think Rookie of the Year is his new band. Catch them on tour.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show and
Thank you for
and
having
hanging out
us.
with us, drinking some beers. This Coors was actually pretty decent.
You know what? I was very, very pleased with that.
I was making fun of it, but
I
it's
would
actually
be-
pretty
I'm going to
good.
disappear for 2 seconds. I got to piss my
Yep.
brains out.
Speaking of beer,
Yeah.
it has that effect.
Well, he's gone. I'll plug my own thing. Can I do that already?
Yeah, totally. You have an interesting show coming up.
I do. On Saturday, 9 o'clock on Alt 92.1, I host a show called Alt Natives, where I feature an hour of all local music. I played Traverse the Abyss before. But this Saturday is my 1-year anniversary. They've allowed me to be on air for the whole fucking year, which is crazy. I thought for sure it'd be week 1, this is fucking terrible, but we'll give them a second week because maybe it was just first week jitters, and then they hear the second week and dude, we cannot let this guy continue on the air. But a whole year. And then, so what I'm going to do for the year anniversary is play an hour of music from bands that kind of got me into the scene about 15 or so years ago. Plus 3, Fighting Zero, Lesson 1, Panacea, all that stuff from back in the day that people my age, I'm 35, so you'll enjoy it, and hopefully the younger kids who may not have heard those bands before will tune in and kind of see where the scene was back in that time, and hopefully they'll enjoy it as much as I do, or I did, and yeah, that's about it.
Oh, well, and a lot of those musicians are not only still playing in bands today, but they influenced a lot of the bands, like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
One generation leading to the next, and so on. You grow up with certain local bands, and then you start your own band.
Yeah, I think 99% of those bands may not currently be in the same band, but they're in other projects, or Underground Saints. You had AJ Jump, who's been I think in every band in NEPA.
Yep.
I feel like, and John Smith was a staple. Trying to think who else they have coming up. The Silent Treatment. Awkward Silence.
Yeah.
Those guys were like kind of here and gone, but I thought they were great. But,
Yeah, and they're Black Hole Heart. I think Steve was in Awkward Silence
were they?
at one point.
I did not.
I believe
that's news to me.
I
so
believe
that's
Steve
pretty
was
neat.
in Awkward Silence at one point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what. I don't want to give all of them away, but
Yeah,
it's gonna be a cool show.
That's awesome.
I'm proud of the fact that I made it a year, and
just made it.
It was one of those where it hurts when you stand up. I was like, oh,
Yep.
man.
but Saturday night 9:00 on Alt 92.1 on the radio 92.1 on the mobile app for free. Download that, check it out there,
Yes.
or on the website as well. So excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen into that. I'm sure
it'll be
there's stuff on there I probably haven't
blast.
heard in like a decade.
A blast from the past for sure. So
Yeah. See, this is what media helping each other out looks like. You guys should, you media people out there. I see some of you tuning in, every once in a while. You should help each other out, a little bit more. We're not all in competition.
yeah.
But-
When you work for free, it's hard to be in competition.
Exactly.
But we love it. That's why we do.
That's
what we do.
why we're
So,
here.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you check these guys out on the 24th when the CD comes out, and the 25th when they're in the Next to Rock show. And make sure you pick this up. Actually go out, like we said, these artists are making next to nothing on CDs and stuff like that. So support an unsigned band and check these guys out. Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.
Thank you.
See ya. Thank you.